So the title isn't clickbait. As I really get into the groove of learning about and implementing minimalism, I'm about to share some really embarrassing stuff when it comes to my wardrobe. Welcome to Get It Together, and if you're new here, this channel is just me trying to figure out how to get my life together and sharing the tips and lessons I learn along the way. And as some of you may know, none of my personal friends know about this YouTube channel, and it's specifically because of videos like this one. There's a certain level of comfort in knowing that I don't personally know any of the viewers of this channel, and as you may have experienced in your life, sometimes it's just more comfortable to talk to complete strangers. But regardless, what do I mean about my wardrobe being a source of embarrassment? Well, in order to understand the root of this embarrassing admission, I gotta spend a little bit of time talking about my most formative years. You know, starting from age 12, 13, when most of us start kind of caring about clothing. When I was in 8th grade, I was introduced to hip-hop culture, and more specifically through one of its 4 elements, breaking, b-boying, or as most people probably call it, breakdancing. I instantly fell in love and I was hooked. Breaking is all I did, and I immersed myself completely into it. And naturally, the style and the philosophies start finding their ways into beliefs and behaviors. One-upping other people in battles and ciphers, finding camaraderie with a crew, and of course, fashion. Now, this isn't just a hip-hop or breaking thing. Every culture and subculture has their gear. Baseball players buy bats and gloves. Artists buy paints and paintbrushes. Skateboarders buy, well, skateboards. B-boys and B-girls buy sneakers. Beyond that though, a perceived necessity to look fresh is built into hip-hop culture. And I, like many, became obsessed with sneakers, both as a necessary tool for the dance and as a fashion statement. But it didn't stop there. That freshness meant needing clothes to match all of the sneakers, which turned into a really dangerous thing for the wallet. Now, even after I stopped breaking 10 or 12 years later, because this was all learned and solidified in my most formative years, the love and the perceived necessities continue to stick with me to this very day. Now, just a quick detour before I continue. If you yourself are a sneakerhead, I hope it's obvious that I'm not saying that the embarrassment I feel should transfer to you at all. When I go to sneaker conferences, and yes, to those who don't know, they do exist in your city and people attend by the thousands, there's a level of understanding that just permeates throughout the entire venue. And so when I say it's embarrassing for me, it's really about what I'm going to show and tell to those who aren't sneakerheads, which, let's face it, is most people on earth. So diving right into it, there are 2 core sources of embarrassment here. The first is that most of my clothing purchases, even till today, are guided by sneakers. Think of the money and the time sink here. Take these for example. These right here are Jordan 5s in the grape colorway. These are my absolute favorite sneakers of all time. Now, I've had these shoes, and I don't know if you can see how crispy they are, but I've had them for the better part of a decade. And you might be wondering, how the hell do they look so new? And it's because I wear them once a year at most. It's gotta be great weather, I can't be doing too much walking, because God forbid toe creases start forming. And that ingrained perceived necessity to look fresh means matching. Which by extension means that I bought this purple sweater right here, for the sole purpose of matching with those sneakers that I wear at most once a year, which therefore means I only wear this sweater at most once a year. That's right. That sweater and that pair of shoes are occupying real space in my life and haven't been worn more than 7 or 8 times. Take my second favorite pair of shoes of all time, Air Max 90s in the infrared colorway. And you guessed it, I bought this shirt and this cap for the sole purpose of matching with these. But I think you can see how ridiculous this all feels to me as somebody who's starting to learn minimalism. Now, at my peak of sneaker collecting, I had well over 100 pairs of shoes, going into a ton of debt to buy them. And just side note, I'll link the entire playlist right up here on how to actually get out of debt. But going right back onto topic, with over 100 pairs of shoes and just seeing these 2 examples that I just showed you, think of how much clothing I bought to specifically match with all of those pairs of shoes. I hope now you can see why I feel embarrassed about my wardrobe, but that's not even it. Because right now I'm gonna share, believe it or not, an even more embarrassing element of my relationship with clothing. I'm a real slave to the corporations. Now I'm gonna toss this right up here, and this is me wearing inarguably the most embarrassing outfit that I own. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that doesn't look all that embarrassing. Maybe a little bit juvenile, but it doesn't look that embarrassing. What the hell are you talking about? Now going right back to my most formative years and that freshness philosophy, cross-brand athletic outfits were considered not cool. So let me explain to you why that outfit is the most embarrassing outfit I own. See, growing up, I was a Nike and Air Jordan person through and through. But a few years ago, Adidas came out with this NMD silhouette. Adding to that, they had this prime knit upper, the boost outsole, and it was, and still is in my opinion, shockingly comfortable. Now, I had owned 0 Adidas up to this point, and after trying on this pair of shoes, I had to have them, so I bought them. Now, buying a pair of comfortable shoes, I don't think you can really knock anyone for it. But because of this learned belief and behavior that stuck with me from my teenage years, I needed a top to match, so I bought this t-shirt. And since it was summer, I needed to get these shorts. But then summer nights still got a little bit chilly, so then I had to buy this sweater. But then if I was going out to do some work or had to pack anything, surely I couldn't pack it in my Nike backpack, so I bought this backpack. As I hear myself saying these words, I'm legitimately getting mad at myself. Woo, getting worked up here, but I'm not gonna lie, it feels good. Thank you guys for essentially playing therapist right now. And as they say, the first step to recovery is recognizing you have a problem. Now I can move on to the last section of this video, which is how I plan on dealing with all of this messed up stuff in my head and in my closet. It's real simple in theory. If you've watched this video, which I'll link right up here, where I counted and took an individual photo of everything that I own, you'll know that right now, to this day, I have 33 pairs of shoes. Step 1, I'm gonna sell all but 4 or 5 pairs total. Next, by getting rid of all of these sneakers that I feel like I have to match, I'm gonna sell or donate 90+% of any piece of clothing that has a swoosh or 3 lines on it. Doing these 2 things alone will minimize at least 60 or 70% of my wardrobe. And I gotta say, this clothing minimizing portion of my journey to learn minimalism couldn't come at a more perfect time. If you've been with me for a little while, you'll know that over the past 12 months, I've lost just over 50 pounds, which means I'm swimming in most of this clothes anyways. And by the way, if you're interested, I'll link the entire playlist right up here, going in detail through my fat loss journey. Essentially, I need to build a whole new wardrobe just based on the fat loss alone. And what's more, I gotta do it on a budget. And I've been doing quite a lot of thinking, and I think I have the perfect transition minimalist solution that works for me. And that's what I'm gonna be sharing in the next video. I want to thank everyone that's helping me stay accountable on my Instagram, and also a huge thank you to everyone who's joined the new private Facebook group, Get It Together, where we can all help each other with tips, sharing lessons, and providing actionable advice as we all tackle our own individual journeys of getting it together. If you got value out of this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions or want to debate anything, hit up the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.